What's happening, everybody? On today's show, we will go around the conference as both LSU and South Carolina have found their next basketball coaches. Tennessee lands a top quarterback prospect, and is the heat turning up on John Calipari at Kentucky? Also, we're going to visit with a former Ole Miss Rebel, big defensive lineman Sam Williams. We'll catch up with him after his monster season last year as he prepares for the NFL Draft. Locked on SEC starts right now.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC. Great to have you guys along. This episode is brought to you by Stat Hero. Stat Hero, reshaping the way you play fantasy sports. Dozens of house-based games to play daily. No sharks, no funky props, just your skill versus the lineups you choose. Sign up today at stathero.com/lockedon. I'm Chris Gordy. Thank you guys again for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On SEC is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube and at lockedonsec.com. Got plenty to discuss, so let's jump into it. Let's go around the conference.
Boots out to the right. Takes the handoff. What a catch!
Around the conference.
It starts on the recruiting front as Nico Iamaleava, got that right, five-star quarterback out of California. He's got plenty of offers. He committed on Monday to play for Tennessee and Josh Heupel, a big recruiting win for Heupel in his second year. The Vols beat out the likes of Alabama and Georgia, Oregon, Miami, pursuing him for more than 10 months. That coming from Go Vols 24/7. He is considered the number 7 player in the class of 2023, the number 4 quarterback in this class, as well as being the number 2 player from the state of California. So Nico Iamaleava going to Tennessee. Now, what does this mean for the likes of, other quarterbacks out there and recruiting and all that? We will see, but that is a big get for Josh Heupel and maybe the heir apparent successor to Hendon Hooker after he plays this season at Tennessee. We will see, but a big get for Rocky Top fans. They have to be absolutely excited about that. Meanwhile, Texas A&M, they're going to have their pro day today. 11 Aggies trying to improve their draft stock ahead of the NFL Draft. A couple of players in the mix to be first-round picks, Kenyon Green and DeMarvin Leal. Other guys participating will be Michael Clemens, Jameer Johnson, Tyree Johnson, Leon O'Neal, among others. Those Aggies will be joined by some ex-Aggies, including quarterback Nick Starkel and a few other guys. They are all going to participate. So best of luck to those guys with their pro days. But a lot of the SEC schools starting to have their pro days around this time of year and getting ready for the next level. One guy who's still got another year left at Alabama, Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young, still kind of turning the page after losing in the national championship game to the Georgia Bulldogs on Monday. He spoke with Sports Illustrated and said letting go of that loss took some time. He said anytime something like a national championship, something you work for, doesn't go your way, it hurts. For me, it was trying to transition from just the emotions of the game to the anger you feel in yourself. He said, you look back, you wish you could have had some plays back, some moments back. You kind of have to snap out of that. And then this year, it is what it is. You can't time travel. So what I'm going to do is improve, get better so I can learn from those mistakes. It's really been a process of turning that page. So Bryce Young, look, no time to waste. Alabama's going to be right back in contention this year, and he is a big reason why. Speaking of Alabama, Ole Miss is set to hire a former Alabama wide receiver to their support staff, Kevin Norwood, joining the Rebels after previously working at Louisiana as a quality control coach. Coming from On3 Sports, Norwood played in the NFL for 4 seasons, playing for the Panthers and the Seahawks. Now he's heading to Oxford to work on Lane Kiffin's staff, so best of luck to him. The Arkansas Razorbacks, the lone SEC basketball team, still playing for something in the NCAA tournament. Mark Few and the number 1 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs will be waiting for the Razorbacks and Eric Musselman's group this Thursday in the Sweet 16 in San Francisco. As the Bulldogs prepare to face Arkansas, Mark Few had a lot of good things to say about Arkansas. He said they're very athletic, evenly sized. They can really guard. They posted some phenomenal defensive numbers. Their defense is kind of what jumps out at you right off the page. They have some good balance there. So we're all rooting for Arkansas, representing the SEC here, Locked On SEC, because they're the only team still alive in the big dance. We do have some more hires around the SEC when it comes to basketball coaches. LSU has made their hire official. They are bringing on Matt McMahon from Murray State. Murray State fell in the second round on Saturday to St. Peter's, but LSU reportedly had considered San Francisco's Todd Golden before he ended up at Florida, and McMahon was their next guy. He was also reportedly in the mix for the South Carolina opening, but McMahon takes over. There's a little bit of a cloud at LSU in the wake of Will Wade's dismissal. Will there be punishments coming down? We will see. But McMahon has coached at Murray State since 2015, led the Racers to the NCAA tournament over 3 years, most known for recruiting Ja Morant, who's turned out to be an NBA superstar. Meanwhile, South Carolina, they're the last opening in men's basketball. Georgia, Florida, Mizzou, LSU, and Mississippi State have all found their coaches, and now it looks like the Gamecocks are finalizing their hire as well. According to basketball insider John Rothstein, the Gamecocks have zeroed in on Chattanooga head coach Lamont Paris to replace Frank Martin. Paris has been at Chattanooga for 5 years, won the Southern Conference regular season tournament titles this year, and led the Mocs to the NCAA tournament for the first time, losing in round 1 to Illinois. In his 5 years there, he's gone 87-70 overall, but we'll see what Lamont Paris can do in Columbia, taking over the South Carolina program. But there you have it. I mean, all the SEC coaches kind of go in the ranks, or SEC schools go in the ranks of mid-major, up-and-coming kind of coaches, getting their big shot to come to the SEC and try to get it done. So it'll be fun next year in SEC hoops. Speaking of SEC hoops, Alabama got a couple guys heading on their way out. Forward Alex Chiku was a four-star freshman in last year's recruiting class for the Tide. He appeared in 3 games this season. He has entered his name to the transfer portal. In addition, Jaden Quinterly, who's the brother of Javon Quinterly, he has entered his name into the portal as well. Kentucky, they came into this tournament as a number 2 seed, and they fell in the first round to 15 seed St. Peter's. On Monday night, Athletic Director Mitch Barnhart issued a pretty strong statement saying he's disappointed for Kentucky fans that they did not get to advance in the Philadelphia region or get to the Final Four in New Orleans. He said, "I've been here 20 years at Kentucky. I've lived in and worked alongside what I consider the greatest fan base in America. We're built for championships, and it's about championships in March and April and deep, deep runs. We fell short of that this year. We need to return to that. Our fans deserve that. I'm deeply disappointed, as they are, that we did not have a chance to experience that this year in Indianapolis, Philly, and New Orleans." Now, Kentucky has not been to a Final Four since 2015. That is going on a pretty long drought now. John Calipari, is he on the hot seat? Not quite, but that's a pretty strong statement from your athletic director. And look, if they don't get back there, if they get ousted early next year again in the postseason, I wonder, a lot of the big decision makers are going to start questioning Calipari's future in Lexington. Meanwhile, Georgia, they've been back on the recruiting trail. They picked up a big name 4-star cornerback for the 2024 recruiting class, Antoine Jackson, a native of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, took to Twitter to announce he had committed to the Bulldogs. He is the number 6 DB in the class of 2024. So a nice pickup there for the Bulldogs. Very early for the 2024 class, but the Bulldogs, the number 2 recruiting class in the nation currently for that year. Ole Miss, they became the latest team in college baseball to ascend to the number 1 team in the country after Texas and Notre Dame. The Rebels won a series at Auburn over the weekend to open SEC play, and that lifted them to number 1 in the latest Baseball America poll. So congrats to them. Thank you guys again for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. Coming up next, we're going to catch up with Sam Williams, big defensive end from Ole Miss, as he prepares for the next level. We'll look back on his years in Oxford in just a second. Of course, it is that time of year with all the college basketball postseason games going on. Stat Hero, they are offering a different, unique way for you guys to get involved in the action. They've got single game pick'ems pitting the star players against each other in an amazing hybrid between fantasy and sports gambling. You could take control back from those handicappers that always have the advantage over you. Start focusing on the players you know best with a gameplay that doesn't rely on big spreads, long odds, or funky props. Stat Hero gives you the advantage, resulting in their gamers winning 4 times more often because Stat Hero eliminates the mystery about who or what you're going up against. In addition to their pick'em games, they got dozens of lineups you can comb through to take on head-to-head. They simply post sets of players for you to take on with a set of players you choose. Stat Hero is the easiest and fastest way for you to get your sports action fix. It is what daily fantasy was meant to be. Go check them out right now. You could sign up for free at stathero.com/lockedon. Use our promo code LOCKEDON for a 100% deposit match at stathero.com/lockedon. Use promo code locked on for a 100% match. Stathero.com/lockedon. Promo code LOCKEDON. Terms and conditions apply.
Rolling along here, Locked On SEC, and getting you guys ready for the NFL Draft. Just a couple of weeks away now, and a lot of guys who start across the SEC hoping to hear their names called sooner rather than later on draft night. And one of those guys who may not have to wait very long is a guy who had a monster season in the SEC last year, and of course had an outstanding career as an Ole Miss Rebel. He has big number 7, Sam Williams, Ole Miss Rebel. Join us now on the line. Sam, what's going on, man? Welcome in.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Good to have you on with us. Let's just jump right into it, Sam. You took your game to another level last year, 13 sacks in the SEC. What did you do last offseason to prepare for that senior season and have such a monster year?
Well, to start, my coach, I had a new coach, and like the first thing he emphasized is we gotta feed our focus and starve our distractions. So like everything like off the field, everything that's not benefiting me, I let go, and I started focusing on ball. And of course, I had a son. It made me go extremely harder. And from there, it's all about the focus and what I want. And I'm a living example. It worked. So.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It certainly was an impressive season you had. There were big questions about Ole Miss's defense going into last year. You guys were so much more improved throughout last season. What was it specifically in your mind that made the defense so much better from 2020 to 2021?
Well, we got some new additions to the team. Mark Robinson, Chance Campbell, Jake Springer. And they kind of brought that mindset with them, the same mindset that I had. And it made it so much easier because, we got help now, We have teammates that want to win, want to be a part of something great. And we had leadership. We had a great leadership and within our team. So it just made everything much easier because the coach didn't have to tell us everything to do because we was a player-led team,
Yeah, no doubt. It's so impressive what you guys were able to do last year. Like I said, a handful of your teammates, they're heading off to the draft as well. Matt Corral, a quarterback, Jerry and Ely, Snoop Connor, Braylon Sanders. Is it kind of crazy when you look back on how much talent you guys had on this Ole Miss team this past year?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Like me and Snoop Connor and Ely and Chance Campbell, we trained in Florida together. We always talked about it dang, we just left Ole Miss and now we can't go back, And Ole Miss will probably never get I wouldn't say never get the same team, but it'll never be the same guys in that one room, So it's kind of crazy because we don't know. We don't know if we'll be together in the next level. We'll be apart. but I know we still got that brotherhood. Like, that brotherhood will never leave because of all the stuff we've been through with the previous season and all the stuff that we overcome in the previous season. So, like, it is crazy. It's crazy, but it's a good crazy, you know?
I know there's always so much talk about when you get to that bowl game, you know, do you opt out? Do you sit out? Do you play? And look, guys are going to do what they think is best for them. But man, to decide to play and then get hurt. I mean, when you guys saw Matt go down, and I mean, that had to be just crushing for you guys, right?
I mean, yeah, it did, but hey, we had to do what we had to do because, like, I mean, we love Matt, but he's not the team. The team is more important, and some guys that step up. Like, I'm always proud of Luke for going in there and sticking it out. You know, I couldn't be more proud of him. We came short, but I mean, as a team, we were proud of each other because we didn't stop fighting.
Give me a little your thoughts on Lane Kiffin, because look, he's a guy who grabs headlines. He's a guy that gets a lot of attention. He's on social media. He's always tweeting about stuff, never afraid to share his opinion on things. But that's all what we see on the cameras and social media and all that. What's Lane like as a coach behind the scenes? Is he more of a quiet guy, more of just that leader behind the scenes, not that vocal guy?
He's vocal when he needs to be. Like Coach Kiffin, like he knew what we needed. He knew the coaching that we needed, but he also let us, like I said, be a player-led team because like the coaches can want it as bad as they want it. Like, but if we don't do it, like the coaches can't go out and play. And the way he let us like basically like take control, not like I don't know how to put it, but basically like it was just player oriented whatever team. Like
yeah.
it was us. And when he needed to, he'll step up and say something. But like when we knew it was like time to go once he say something because he never say anything. He watched, he learned, and well, he's a cool guy. I mean, he's a laid back guy, and he expects you to be great. I mean, if you're not being great, he'll tell you. Like he's a straightforward guy. He's an honest guy. He's not going. I don't know how to like. He's just not going to lie to you.
Right.
He's going to tell you straightforward.
And he's a guy who's worked, under some of the greats and learned from Nick Saban, learned from other guys. So obviously he knows what he's doing. Give me, in your opinion, Sam, who was the toughest SEC offensive line you went up against this year?
No, I'll say Evan Neal from Bama. He was a great player, yeah.
Yeah, and a guy who's probably going to go top 5 in this draft, so not a bad guy to pick there by any means.
More with Sam Williams in just a second, but need to remind you guys about our friends at Bet Online. It is that time of year, of course. Tons of games last weekend, more games coming up starting this Thursday, and you need to get a lot of information. You need to find out what you're going to be doing when you start to get involved in picking some of these teams. And for all the latest odds, contests, and player props, betonline.net is your number one source for all your sports betting needs and information. BetOnline remains the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news throughout the year. And of course, not just basketball, they got you covered with everything else. They are your continued source for all your sporting wagering informational needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to their website today. You can do so on your mobile device. Learn more about the trends in action. Got some great odds on Arkansas in the Sweet 16. Got to go check them out. Bet Online, where the game starts. BetOnline.net. Great resource for you.
We're continuing our conversation with Sam Williams. He is expected to, or going into this draft, preparing for this draft, and obviously just capped a heck of a career at Ole Miss, a monster sack season this past year, a senior season in Oxford. We talked about who was the toughest O-lineman you went up against. Who was the best player you saw in person in the SEC this year? Obviously, Bryce Young won the Heisman, but was it him or did somebody else jump out at you and you went, man, that guy's the real deal?
Ooh, sheesh. Best player, I don't know. I feel like the best in the SEC is Snoop. Like like all around player because as we know, like he didn't start, but when he got in, like he handled business. And for him to be where he was third string to come out, I mean, he got to have that real confidence. Like, you see a film, like he was third string running back, but look at his results, and that's crazy. So I feel like Snoop, I feel like Snoop Connor is probably the best player in the SEC to me.
Yeah, not a bad guy to pick, a guy who was on your team. You had some big sacks this season, but versus Liberty, you got to sack Malik Willis twice. There's a lot of buzz. He's going to be a high first-round pick. Was that game maybe your most memorable, or what was your most memorable game of this year for yourself?
Tennessee. It was definitely Tennessee, and that's because of like. First, the crowd and the atmosphere was crazy. I'm talking about insane. And then, like, we was down, then up, down. So it was just a game where I had to, like, I don't know. It was a fun game. It was to be an away game. It was so fun.
Now you didn't get hit by a golf ball or anything, right?
No, I didn't. But it was so fun. Like, especially then we won. So, like, it was crazy. I never had trash thrown at me or nothing. Like, it was exciting.
Yeah, it's so funny to talk to people who were there that night. I mean, mustard bottles getting thrown on the field, it was crazy, but obviously it was a big moment for you guys this year. You jumped into action during Senior Bowl week. I was down in Mobile and saw you got in there. What was that experience like? And what are you hearing from some of the scouts and people that on maybe what you need to work on in your game preparing for the draft?
The Senior Bowl, it was kind of different because like how I play is I study film, but there was no film study. Like we went out and played the opposite team, and I didn't know them from Adam. I didn't know anything. Like I didn't know anything about them. So I mean, it was kind of challenging. But it was a fun and great experience because like I wasn't one of the guys that was originally like invited there. And one night I got a call, I think it was like around 9 or 10 that I got invited. And then I'm ready to go now. I got on the plane, I think about 11, got there about 12. And it was just a great experience. I was blessed to be there. And if I could do it again, I would. And from the scout standpoint, they see me as a 3-4 outside linebacker type guy. So I'm like, after the combine and stuff, I went back to my training facility, worked on my drops and worked on like coverages and just stuff like that.
What at Ole Miss did they ask you specifically? I mean, was your job duty mostly just rush the passer, get after it, or at times were you asked to drop into coverage? Hey, go cover this tight end and that sort of thing. What was kind of the majority of the time at your Ole Miss? Was it just hand in the dirt, go after the quarterback?
Yes, sir. We was a 3-4. I was a defensive end, so it was 3 down linemen the whole year. So like that's why coaches be impressed because I got 13 sacks with 3 down linemen. So I was getting double team, triple team some of the games. So I mean, if the NFL, whoever drafted me, put me in one-on-one in a one-on-one position, like it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and hey, put you opposite of Myles Garrett or somebody like that where you ain't getting double team, and who knows what you could do at the next level. Talking with Sam Williams. Where are you gonna watch the draft? What's your plans?
Probably at home. I'm not I don't know. I mean, I'm not a crazy guy that wants the extras. I'm a watch it with the people that's been supporting me in my career. Everybody's not gonna be there. Like people, I'm just doing the people that's been supporting me from day one because this is like one of probably the best moments of my life besides the birth of my son. So like I wanted to be around the people that I know that supported me from the beginning.
Yeah, no doubt. That's look, everybody does their own thing. Like I had a buddy who went and played on the golf course. He got a phone call. Hey, we just drafted you. Okay, let me finish taking this putt. So, everybody kind of does their own thing and you do it in your own way. And man, it's going to be fun to see where you go when your name gets called. And I know there's going to be a lot of folks particularly around Oxford, that are going to be rooting hard for you. Last thing for you, Sam, give me your thoughts on this Ole Miss team moving forward. There's a lot of new pieces coming in. Coach Kiffin has certainly hit up the transfer portal, but who are some guys that we maybe need to keep an eye on for 2022 at Ole Miss?
Brandon Mack was AJ Finley, Isaiah Iton, Sid Johnson, Tavius Robinson. I don't know about the offensive guys, but those defensive guys, I'm telling you, they gonna. I'm telling you, especially my favorite is Sid Johnson, because he was playing on the other side of me, and he had 8, 9 sacks, something like that, and he's nothing but a sophomore, you know. So I feel like it's gonna be one of them years where he take over, you know.
Yeah,
I just.
Cedric Johnson, number 33, 6'3", 255 pounds. And you're right, only a sophomore. So if we're looking at a guy, could certainly take that next step in his development. He could definitely blow up next year and be that guy. Just a quick thought. We had Chance Campbell on the show a few weeks ago, and he talked about how much fun it was coming in and playing on this defense and leading the team in tackles and all that. What was that like, bringing in a guy literally from another program from Maryland and just having to step in and learn everything, learn a new playbook, and develop chemistry with a guy like that?
It was awesome. Like Chance Campbell is like a brother to me. It's crazy because he taught me so much without doing nothing. You know, like the way he talked to the team. Like even if a player messed up, I've seen him pick up players in a way that I've never seen before. Or I've seen him lead the team without even saying a word, just by his actions. That's the way he do the things he do. I've seen he taught me ways to watch film. He taught me how to learn the whole defense. He taught me personally how to learn the whole defense. So I don't know, I know my job, but I know why my job is important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the defense was a seed. I feel like, man, we had 3 more Chance Campbells on our team. Man, we would have been in a championship. I believe that. He's a great person. He's a great teammate. He's a great brother. It was amazing. And Coach Dirk, whoever got him, I need to get him a handshake and a kiss, because that helped us out a lot. They helped me out a lot because, like I said, I learned so much from him, and I grew as a teammate because so many people respect him. He just got here, so many people respect him, and he don't even say nothing. And that shows a lot. I mean, that tells you so much about a person and about a player because of the standard he stood by, the motivation that he played with. It was crazy. I keep going on and on about him. Every scout asks me which player I will bring with me. Chance Campbell, no doubt. No doubt. There's no brainer. Chance Campbell. Because he's a great guy, and any NFL team will be blessed to have somebody like him.
Well, we'll throw that out into the universe. If an NFL team drafts you, well, then they better draft him a few rounds later and get you both on the same team and continue that momentum you guys had at Ole Miss this past year. Sam, appreciate the time, man. Best of luck to you going to the next level, and we'll be rooting for you, man. And man, we hope your name is called sooner rather than later. All right.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you taking the time to interview me.
All right. Thank you so much. That's Sam Williams here on Locked on SEC, and I appreciate him taking some time here.
That is just about going to do it for this edition of Locked on SEC. Again, thanks again for making Locked on SEC your first listen every day. Now go make your second listen. Check out the Locked on NFL Draft podcast. Ryan Tracy and Eric Crocker bring you the NFL Draft coverage, bring it to life every day with insight and analysis on college football prospects and NFL front offices like Sam Williams. It is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Chris Gordy. This has been Locked on SEC. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow right here on Locked on SEC.